All right, traders, welcome back to the channel. I'm going to do a more in-depth review of the day on AMC, how I see us moving going into the rest of the week, how it moved today, options that I currently have, and what my plan is overall. We had some pretty big news from ARON this morning. We're going to be covering that specifically. Also, indexes are strong, so AMC, in my opinion, is bullish short-term, long-term, medium-term, whatever you may say. That's what my viewpoint is on it, so let's not waste any more time. Let's get to it. Like, subscribe, do what you got to do. Let's go.
I got no drip in my pocket.
All right, so we're going to hop right into just the Twitter part really quick, and then we'll go into some other stuff. So ARON made this news today, basically offering, so you could get the NFT with Spider-Man and things like that if you were Investor Connect or like 3 subcategories. Well, now they're making a specific NFT solely for shareholders. You can go check his Twitter out. At CEO Adam, that is literally his Twitter handle. Pretty basic, pretty easy to follow, get along, whatever. So anyways, that's pretty cool. It's specifically for holders. This might encourage some individuals to go buy some stock, but I don't think there's a minimum of how many stock you have to own. Just kind of creative incentive out there. It's not super bullish, not the craziest thing ever, but it definitely shows that he's trying to make more benefits for the shareholders. Could this possibly lead to some type of NFT dividend? It is possible, and maybe that's what they're working on and getting set up here. That's 100% maybe a possibility. So I do want that to be highlighted. But like I said before, any type of dividend or anything like that would ever even happen, I think people need to understand that that would not take place at least into the end of quarter number 1 of 2022. So that would likely be over 3 months, just so you know. So anyone pushing out instant squeeze or instant gratification to $1,000 on AMC most likely will not happen in the coming days or anything like that. So just know, I'm never going to just fill your head full of BS. So going into the chart viewpoint here, how are we moving, things like that. First thing I want to do, right out of the gate, we're just going to go to the 15 minutes. So you can just look at how we moved on the day. Very, very good movement on the day. But I want to show you the Nasdaq, the Dow, and then a SPY as well. This is the Nasdaq. On the day, you had a pretty solid open. You had some push down. It started off really, really slow, and then you shot up and tech started taking off. Yet the Dow was strong all day long. It didn't even show a sign of slowing down. SPY, similar as the Dow, took a while to get that break, but eventually had it. I think the SPY is the one actually lagging right now, has tons of room to run. Once it gets above 461, this thing could really take off in the coming days as well. So going into AMC, what does that mean for AMC? I made the update video in the middle of the day, and I don't know if I'm going to keep doing the middle of the day videos on AMC specifically. I don't want to just force content down your throat or have any type of the wrong viewpoint with you guys. I literally just post more videos about a certain stock, specifically AMC. I post more videos on AMC when I'm actively trading it. So when I'm actively getting into options and things like that, I have more incentive to make that content because I'm actually in it. So if I'm just talking about shares or a long-term viewpoint, I might not make a video every day. But if I'm actively trading it, I want to feed you guys the information that I'm looking at as well. So looking at AMC, we talked about this at the end of last week, that bounce we had in that zone. We've gone over it. You've seen the chart plenty of times. You had a nice push up today. I was in the $40 strikes, and that's the ones that I keep playing on AMC. They're holding their value pretty well on the dip. I did get in 2 times today, to be very clear. If you watched the live this morning, then you actually saw the trade, everything like that. I got in, and then I sold at around 30 flat. And this is what I'm probably going to keep doing. People are going to get mad by this statement. They're going to say, you're a day trader, you're ruining the stock, yada, yada, yada. No, I'm not. I am not actively pushing the stock down. The stock's going to do what it wants to do, and it's not bringing this down negatively. Because apparently if you buy stock, you're benefiting the stock going down. If you sell stock, it's going down. So no matter what you do, apparently everyone's a big bad bear when it comes to AMC. So no matter what you do, it's going to enforce some type of bad pressure unless you're buying shares and holding them for the immune. So I'm actively going to keep building my portfolio every single day. That's my goal. The end game is to get into longer dated options. But until I see a hard bottom confirmed, in my opinion, and breaking above the key levels I'm going to talk about here in the video, I'm going to keep trading it like this. And I'll be live every single morning from 8:30, which is the market open, till at least 9:30, 10 a.m. That's usually when I hop off. I was actually live a little bit longer today, and those videos will not be saved. I take them down from YouTube so I don't get, strikes or anything like that, because I usually play music and the conversations can get kind of vulgar. But anyways, so looking at AMC, how is it moving now? I like the way you're moving. First of all, you're holding the weekly, you pressed up. Now we had a nice trend, and you broke down. The crazy part about this trend line breaking down is those 40s stayed the same value. They're like roughly 42 cents on the second ones that I got. The first time we got in was around 50 cents. We sold at 72. You came back down. I bought at 50, and now you're sitting at 42. So you're a little bit down in the hole. It is what it is. But I still see AMC and indexes moving up very strong. So I made a video earlier about 2 stocks that I'm looking at as well on the channel, and those are performing pretty good as well, and I'll get into those in a later video. I'm not going to cover those right now, but the fact that you're holding the weekly, that's all you really want here. Hold the weekly, get above view up, and start pushing back towards 34, 35. 34, 35 is going to be a big resistance for AMC in the short term, and I'm going to keep talking about levels here on the channel, so every day when you come back for an update, I'm going to talk about where we need to get and where you need to hold, because people want to see this end game of pushing to $300, $400, and in my opinion, it's all about getting above key levels so options get in the money so you can have more pressure to push back to local highs. So that's what I'm looking at. So before we can talk about 40, 50, 60, whatever it may be, you got to focus on these levels. So I believe what you're working on right now is getting a retest of this zone from 34.50 roughly to 35.80. You're going to get a push up here. You're going to get probably rejected on your first try, but I think it's going to happen here in the next week and a half. And I think it's a very high probability. Right now, the IV is getting crushed on some of these options. The value of the contracts that I got December 17th of $40 strikes, I'm going to keep repeating it because those are the only ones I'm trading right now. They're roughly 40 cents, like I just said, 40, 42 cents. And in my opinion, it just looks great until you hold below the weekly there. MACD, I'm not interested in it right now because indexes are bouncing. If you look at like a 1 hour and 4 hour, the MACD is going to be beautiful for a setup. The shorter time frame stuff is going to look like it's curling down maybe for a retracement. In my opinion, everything's very bullish. You got bull flags on the Nasdaq, bull flags on the Dow, bull flag on SPY, the SPY. Incredibly bullish. And even now in the after hours, you're getting a Bitcoin pump as well. This is just every index, everything is showing that the value is coming back into the market. Now, one thing I wanted to highlight, and I mentioned this in an earlier video, so I'm sorry if you're seeing this for a second time, was this statement right here. And this is actually a true statement. And they're probably just nitpicking and taking things they want to, feed to the public or feed, on Bloomberg and CNBC, whatever it may be. But the factor that was pushing us down last week is now actually the factor that's pushing us up this week. So Omicron was the big, bear of the market that, we might go into lockdown. It's super contagious, this, that. But the fact of the matter is now it's signaling a bottom of COVID and things like that, because as these viruses progress, typically the variants get weaker and weaker and weaker, and now we have less of a common cold. No one has died of this yet, anything like that. God willing, we have no lockdowns. It's looking very bullish right now. So it's hilarious how the market works and how the thing last week that could be killing us, and this week, now we're printing money off of it. So keep this on your radar. In my opinion, you're looking very good. And I'll keep you guys updated on Twitter as well, sharing information as I get it and any big sources of news as well. So just going in and just recapping what you want to see over the next week and a half. I do believe you're going to see a retest of 34.5, 34.50, all the way to 35.80, this range up here. So just roughly this block, this support up here, which is December's monthly open and November's monthly open. Those are going to be key ranges, and I do not think it's a coincidence you close so close to those. Right here, I think you need to hold weekly. As long as you hold the weekly, which is going to be the support of 28 roughly flat, I think you have a range to push back up. Another thing people need to be looking out for is you do have GameStop earnings coming in on Wednesday. So I do expect to get some volatility after Wednesday, most likely Thursday morning or Wednesday in the after hours. So be careful. I most likely won't be in options. As of right now, I don't plan on being options during those earnings because anything can happen. I covered in my last video as well, and I realize more people will probably watch the later at night videos just because they're an overall market update. As you can see from the last earnings, I just want to highlight a few things. From the last earnings, you had a nice run up into those earnings, a nice little push after, and then a gradual dump, right? So I'm not saying that's going to happen specifically with AMC here, but it was September 8th when you saw that. You had a really great run up, and then boom, you got just shot down. So I don't want to be negative, bearish, or anything like that. I'm just saying watch out and mitigate your risk. Like for instance, I'm going to talk about a loss I just had. We don't do it often, and you don't hear it often, especially with some of these channels, but I had a loss on Pfizer. I was up 40% on Friday, and then I held the position going over the weekend just because I was very bullish on my thesis. Now, I wasn't over leveraged or anything like that, but the 40% gain that turned out to be roughly a 20% loss because I did not take those profits. Now, there was a lot of upside. It could have gapped up. There was a lot of options. There were things that I was looking at, but overall, I just played an extremely risky side when in reality, I probably should have took the 40 to 45% profits. This is always going to be a learning experience. There's always things you can learn from. You're always going to make mistakes, and sometimes stocks aren't going to go the way you want them to go. So always be prepared, and that's really the best advice I can give anyone. Other than that, guys, it's going to wrap up the video. If you have any questions, comment down below. The area that I think we're going to be testing soon, 34.5 to 35.8, roughly $1.50 price range. So keep that on the lookout. I'm feeling pretty bullish. I love the indexes, and until things change, I will keep you guys updated. Follow on Twitter because I'm always posting about indexes, how I see them moving, the upcoming market, stocks I'm liking, things like that. And make sure you subscribe to the channel as well. The Discord link is down below for every single trade that I'm taking. But if you want just free information, Twitter is always your best source. Like, subscribe, do what you got to do. Back tomorrow. And remember, we run the market.
Go cop it, I'm about to take off like a rocket. Houston, we might have a problem, but that don't mean money will solve 'em. No, that don't mean money will solve 'em.